Hey everybody, in a rare treat, Alistair and I are both in the physical Pure IP office at the same time, so we thought we'd do some content. And we want to talk about managed SBCs. Alistair, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah, at Pure IP and BCM1, I'm the Professional Services Director, so I look after the teams like the project managers, the SBC team, and the team's admin guys who would work delivering Pure IP services on the enterprise side. So it's like kind of working together with customers delivering Pure IP services.
So obviously Pure IP well known for Operator Connect and cloud, but there's still lots of physical SBC out there, and we actually have a team that are dedicated to, I say physical SBC, but it can be virtual as well, but customer dedicated SBC.
Yeah.
So my first question is, with loads of country coverage and Operator Connect, what are the use cases where you still need a per customer virtual physical SBC?
I think the first one is what generally companies are striving for if they're global or even not necessarily that large, but still got lots of different locations, is the consistency of the solution. You get Teams, you roll out Teams phone system, and it's possible to get that across your entire estate. But as you mentioned, there's a wide scope of what you can get for Operator Connect now for PSTN, but there are some countries that you can't get Operator Connect in. The first and foremost way that we use SBCs is for connectivity to other PSTN providers. So it can still be the same solution, as in from a user perspective, still the same experience, works exactly the same, works alongside Operator Connect, and can be basically using direct routing on the SBC, and we can hook in various types of PSTN.
So the customer might have existing classic PRI, like they're in contract for that, or they're happy with that, or they can't get cloud in their country, or they've got a SIP trunk, but it's terminated to site for some reason, they want to stick with that. You can have an SBC connect to that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say quite a lot of the scenarios there involve that physical connection, like you mentioned, BRIs, physical analogs, that sort of stuff.
And there's still a lot of countries where that is still dominant, right? You can't get necessarily reliable cloud connectivity everywhere in the world.
Yeah, exactly that. So we do quite a lot of those, and then we also do some of them where there's governance or compliance or requirements, even from another carrier requirements perspective, whereby yes, it might be SIP, but it might be locked down. It might need to go over private connectivity. It might need to be in that office or that location somewhere. And hence that you can do another sort of managed SBC there, whereby we can make that work in Teams, make it feel the same solution, but offload that PSTN connection.
Yeah. And so how do we help customers out? Customers are migrating their phone system to the cloud, but they're trying to get rid of kit, but there's still some kit that's needed there. So what does your team do around that?
So there's a couple of areas there. The first one is like getting these things deployed, as in getting them into the network, getting them racked and that sort of stuff. So we try and optimize that process as much as possible. So we do various preparations with customers, understanding where these things are going to sit, both architecturally and physically. Yeah. But then we work with customers just to have a very light touch to actually get them physically on the network. But once they are on the network, we provide a full deployment service and a full managed service, so that no one has to understand how to integrate them into Teams or what the various different pitfalls are of putting them into Teams. We're very used to dealing with that on our core SBCs in Pure IP. And we can walk a customer through any kind of firewall problems, any kind of network requirements and all that sort of stuff. So we try and optimize it and just give them the important parts, and then we take the rest away and we offer that as our service.
So you can help the customer say it's going to be 1 U and you need to rack it like this, and it's going to need connectivity. The customer has to rack and provide some connectivity, and then we can pick up from there.
Yeah, even down to pictures and ports. Make it really simple. It's going to look like a white and black box, port 1 and port 3, that sort of stuff. So we just make it nice and simple, and then once we can get access and we've got the remote access to start building the configurations, that's the part where we can engage with various different teams about what's needed, or even what carrier settings are required, that sort of stuff.
Cool. And then the ongoing monitoring management, is that part of the service?
Yep, all part of the service as well. We have the usual monitoring and management, making sure that things like availability management, performance management, that sort of stuff, but also the more proactive and also slightly reactive based on Microsoft stuff. Microsoft quite a lot of the time require things to be changed, certificates. And that sort of stuff. So we watch out for all these things that will affect the service that we're providing, and we proactively rectify them. and also keep in line with bug fixes, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Again,
firmware really important. Those
Yeah.
boxes, depending on again where they're mounted and how they're racked in the network, they're probably behind a firewall. They might be directly externally facing. Keeping the firmware patched on those is really important.
Yeah, we see a variety of sort of bugs that occur because we've got a large estate of these types of devices. We can see things unfolding in various different scenarios, and we can also roll out that protection or that experience that we get on those sites, and we can roll it out and protect all the other sites too. So we get that from the perspective of our core SBCs, from our remote SBCs, and we try and keep them all at a reasonable level, knowing the service, whether it's going to Microsoft or other services, but we try and make sure that it's protected.
Yeah, it's a long time since I've done hands-on with SBCs, but I remember it was like you check with everybody to see what the sensible, safe firmware was. You don't want to go latest day one either. You want to, unless you've got a really good reason, you want to make sure it's nice and stable. And equally, you don't want to fall too far behind from a security, or if you hit an issue, you don't want to have to jump major versions necessarily to go fix the issue.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely keeping them up to date is a sort of constant thing, that you're always looking ahead at those different versions and seeing if there's anything in there that's going to cause us a particular problem, marrying that up with Microsoft. And yeah, it's quite a bit of work keeping those together, but as part of the service, that we take that responsibility away from the customer so that we can stay plumbed into that sort of stuff and get it fixed for them.
Nice. And do you still see customers using them for PBX interop or local kit connectivity, PA systems? Is that still a requirement?
Yeah, I think outside of the PSTN connectivity, we then see a couple of different things. Like you say, third-party integrations, maybe less so now a little bit. I think a lot of the stuff that's kind of IP-based has been moving towards trying to get Teams native. There are various options for speakers and doors and all that sort of stuff, but we do see a bit of that. But I would say the primary option for that particular scenario would be like migrations. If someone's moving into pure IP and migrating a lot of numbers or through lots of different sites, we can provide the migration SBCs just to not change so many things all at one time, change your carrier and your platform and all of the setup, but you can change one thing at a time. And then once you've got that control, you can flick it across different platforms and control your rollout. So it's like a safety option as well. So we see quite a few of those too, even short term.
Yeah. So in a customer project, it's unlikely to be all SBC. It will be some kind of mix of probably OC, maybe DR as a service, and then some local boxes where needed, but we can wrap that all into one kind of project.
Yeah, exactly. From our perspective, we'd have multiple teams all working together as that single project team. So the guys that are dealing with the Teams configurations are working alongside the SBC guys and making sure that things fit and that things flow through the entire sort of solution.
Awesome. If you want to find out more, what's the best thing to do?
Always look at the website, take a look at the different service options, or reach out to the sales options on there, or if you're an existing customer, reach out to your account manager.
Cool. Thanks, Alistair.
No problem. Thank you.